Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
So basically, it just all depends on if you guys have a true understanding initially. Like, are you guys dating seriously? So on average, I would say 6 months. And that is consistently like spending time with that person, whether that person is local. But if you're consistently spending time with someone, I feel like after 6 months, you should know officially. 3 months, especially if you have that attraction with that person. If you guys are actually talking about future, plans, then I would say having the conversation at 6 months just to see where you guys are at should be a good starting point. I don't follow 6 months. and maybe it's because, at that time that I wasn't dating, to be serious. And I feel like that is the problem. That I feel like if you are dealing with someone for a year and you guys are playing house, that is a problem. Either one with you or that person. And you guys are avoiding whatever commitment, that should be taking place, because at one point somebody should be bringing it up, and if one person is scared to go to that other person to be like, hey, where are we at, it just means that person isn't ready, and that's on both ends. Off start, you're gonna know that I am into fitness, you're gonna know that I work out, you're gonna know that I care about how I look and how you look. So those conversations are going to take place. That's going to be one of the things that we do together is work out. So if it comes to where we are together and it's been a year and you tend to gain more weight and look a little fluffy, I am going to openly tell you. And then try to encourage you to be like, okay, are we going to the gym, or what are you doing? And initially I may just be observant to like what your habits are, whether or not you are now converting into this lazy individual. And if that is the case, then yeah, I might have to reevaluate being in this relationship with you. So most definitely I am not going to be, that shallow and over muscle loss. We all are getting older, and we all are struggling at the age that, over 30, of keeping weight off or just keeping that six pack if you've had kids. So I would definitely not base it off of that. I think it would definitely be just based off of the fact of being lazy. And then there's a situation that, hey, like if they got sick and, they gained weight based off of medication they were on, or, they lost their job and they just was in this depressive state, of course I would be supportive in that. But it would then always go back to that, hey, one of my needs from a person is that they have to be willing to have that same, active lifestyle. So I know that they are going to, get back on it once they, come out of there. Only because I feel like, when do you have time? Like, hello, I'm supposed to be your best friend. But even so, I feel like if we are, close enough, if we are having open conversations that, hey, one, if we're in this relationship, we should be able to trust each other. But to come and say, hey, this is my new best friend and she is a female, a lot of questions, would arise. I would feel like that is a flag. I would definitely be on radar for, hey, who sent you? But definitely, no.
What about a work wife?
Work wife, that's different, because I feel like that would be a new best friend. I feel like that would be a person that person saw on a daily basis. So, I feel no harm in a work husband or a work wife, especially as far as communicating with, So, one, I am that other person. I tend to want to vent to my partner about what happens at work. I don't care if they don't know who they are. I will name off that person, and that person will probably look at me like, well, I don't know who Michael is, I don't know who Betty is, but how I am in my personality is I will go off and explain, and I want you to only listen. Don't say nothing, I want you to listen. So because I am that way, I am able to say, okay, well, if that person comes to me and starts venting about work, I know how to handle it because I know what I would want. So in order to calm it out, the biggest thing is just to listen and just understand that, hey, I really don't work there, I really don't know the situation, and just know that that person is just basically just getting out whatever frustration that they have. Sex tape has leaked, it hit the internet. Oh. So I guess it just all depends on whether or not the sex tape, what the rating is. I did it as sex tape. So, considering that I, am very, conservative, that hopefully it wasn't one of those times where I just drank a little bit too much Casamigos and, didn't know about what was going on. But no, seriously, if it was a sex tape by a former person that I dated, I would hope that, I could reach out to that individual and ask them, what's going on, what happened, take that shit down. Like, just if in that event that they are, hostile and, petty, I then would have to pretty much just take it to the officials. But in the midst of all of that, I would let my current partner know, just so that way they can just be supportive and be that person to calm me down and just have me react, maturely about handling the situation. So I think anybody would initially. I would ultimately be understanding. I definitely would not, carry it on as if it wasn't a big deal. But I would definitely, explain to him that, hey, like, this is something that happened in the past. This isn't something that I was aware of. And I would hope that he would be understanding. I mean, what we do in the bedroom, he really can't complain and say that, this isn't something that we would have done recently. So, it's the same situation. And I would just hope that he would be understanding to know that, hey, this isn't something that I participated in leaking. Of course I'm gonna call my girls. Kris Jenner? Oh yeah, trying to make some money off of it. Like I said, it depends on what I was doing and how well I was doing it in the video. I would watch the video first, like, did I ever remember that happened? But yeah, so that would be pretty much, yeah. When my significant other does blank, I feel loved. I feel like I'm such a tough-shelled individual, and my lack of showing affection sometimes needs to improve. But for me, definitely when my significant other shows that random act of physical affection, I feel love. So whether it be that kiss on the forehead, me walking by, smacking my ass, and the gentle grabbing my arm as I'm walking by and hugging me, like, that makes me feel loved. I don't like to share. But monogamy, in a sense where I feel like if I am married to an individual, yes, I feel like you are mine, I am yours. I don't want anybody else involved. In the dating world, I just kind of find that it's so unfair. Especially as you get older, you typically know what you want, what you don't want. And that's why we date, right? We kind of date so that way we can kind of eliminate and make our choice on not settling. So when dating, I don't necessarily feel that it's wrong to kind of have multiple people that you are talking with, because sometimes that one person can do something the other person does, whether that person communicates well, whether that person you have fun with when you go out to events, another person just might be more understanding. So, it's like sometimes it's maybe okay to have 3 people that make that one person. But overall, in a marriage, strictly monogamous. I would be understanding. And if that was to come up to where my significant other stated that they were uncomfortable with the situation, then yes, I would address it. And like you said, it happens all the time. They're all work affairs. And if that spark would have happened, it's just knowing me, knowing my relationship. I would hope that my partner trusts me. If we have that understanding that, hey, like, this is monogamous. And I think that's the issue. That going in, that is a very good question. You need to ask people that are getting married, like, do you believe in monogamy? Or do you prefer a different lifestyle of it not being? And if that's the case, then that's where. But it always draws back to setting expectations and setting boundaries. So as long as you have that open communication and you have that trust initially, like, I don't see it being a problem. If you happen to have I would consider like a work husband a friend. But if it were to lead in anything, or I would feel like that work husband is getting a little too comfortable, he's sending me pictures of, things below, then I would address it. I would then kind of remove myself, because for me, I would just find it comfortable, in my work setting to get through my day, to have that individual. That's what growing is about. I feel like over a period of years, things like that are going to come up. And if he is comfortable enough to come to me and ask me that, I need to take that and appreciate that. I wouldn't necessarily be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, what the fuck? Like, are you crazy? Like, I would not have that response. I'll try not to have that response. Just knowing our foundation. And if that was the case, I ain't gonna answer yes or no that I would, but I would definitely try to get to the bottom of, why he feels this way, or like what his, visual picture of what this should be and where this is going to go, and then go from there. I think that's a fair enough statement in the saying, like, I would be open and understanding to listening to why he's asking me that. If it was for a long time, I would have to evaluate, like, the length of time and basically what he did to get his ass locked up. I got to protect my integrity. I got my job. I work a government job. So, I definitely would not want anything to jeopardize, me bringing money to the table. You can't be too broke, motherfuckers. Like, so, yeah. If it was going to be a lengthy amount of time that he was going to be locked up, yeah, bruh. After about, I give him 2 years. 2 years max, and I'll be a pen pal for those 2 years. But if you ain't got, no expectations to parole, getting out, then you might, I encourage alone time. I think it is very important. Whether it be time for yourself to just focus on you and to be by yourself, or even if it's alone time from that partner to spend with your friends. But it gives you the opportunity to miss the other person. What is that thing they say? The heart grows fonder, when you're apart. But it also allows you not to be caught up in losing yourself. We tend to, get in a relationship, spend all this time with this individual, and we kind of sort of start mimicking them. We pick up on things they like to do, vice versa. We start saying things that they say and speaking the way that they speak. So when you have that alone time, you keep yourself. You aren't losing yourself. You're creating this healthy balance of, not being frustrated with, being annoyed with that individual, especially if you're living with somebody. You shouldn't put restrictions on, I don't want you hanging out with your friends, and, you know, just putting those restrictions on, you gotta tell me, you know, where and when, because when you create those like expectations initially, or not even create those expectations, but if that's the energy that you're bringing to the table, you're going down a path that kind of like, eventually it's gonna backfire on you, and you're gonna wanna do something, and you're gonna be like, what the hell, like, I'm grown. So just being alone and just setting that presence, and, you know, and if you do end up with a clingy person, you know, whether just being alone in a closet, just going to hide, like, you still need that. So it's very important that you at least have that discussion with someone, or even are aware and observant of having just that, you know, knowing, wait a minute, this person don't ever want to be alone, like this person always wants to be with me, or I want my alone time, and this person is still like, hey, what you doing? I'm coming over, you know. If that happens, then, like, at least, like, we all typically are in that beginning stages of the butterflies and wanting to know more about that person, and feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time, so I gotta see that person today, I gotta see that person tomorrow. But just keeping around and just saying, you know, chill back, relax, and just make sure that in moderation that you're getting to know somebody, so that way you don't run into that issue of, you know, when you do want alone time, that it's an issue for you to have it when it does come up.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.